Calificas para ser legal. ¿Quieres saber? Solo llama al abogado Andrés Mejer.
Now do you know when your visa expires? Either because it's on the passport and you know how to check it and you can read it, or you can go to see Customs Border Patrol website and you can look at it there. So you know when it expires. What do you do if you filed a petition and your status is about to expire? Now, give you the example. Let's say I'm from Venezuela. I entered as a tourist. I entered in January 1st. They gave me 6 months, which would be June 1st, right? And within that 6-month period, I filed for asylum, or I got married to a US citizen, she's applying for me, or I'm applying to extend it. Let me give you an example. Let's say I fell and broke my arm. I was in a car accident. I was diagnosed with cancer or something else. I have a significant medical reason, or my spouse was, or my loved one was, that I came to visit. They had a heart attack and I'm helping them recover. Whatever the reason is, that has to be a significant one, you can apply to extend your status. Now that means for a temporary period of time. So they gave me 6 months. The most they're going to give you is a year. Another option, you want to change your status from one thing to another. The most important part is you file for something before your permitted stay expires. Now, I filed in March. Here it is June. My visa is about to expire. What do I do? Well, if I overstay, it's technically not a problem because I have a valid petition pending. Now, if it's a fraudulent application that I just do it to extend it, that's not going to help you. It has to be legitimate, meaning it has to be approvable at the time. Even if it's ultimately denied, let's say the law changes and my asylum application is denied, but I say, listen, the law should protect me. As long as it was legitimately filed and I had a colorable claim, I'm okay. I will have to leave within usually 10 days from when I get the denial unless I'm appealing that decision. But let me give you an example. Again, Venezuela. We have a client who entered a couple years ago as a tourist before his 6 months were up. And by the way, I use 6 months as an example. You don't always get 6 months. Very important. But he applied for asylum. He was afraid to go back. While that petition is pending, he applied for a diversity visa. And he was approved. And now he's going to be receiving his green card in the United States. All because he applied timely. His petition was pending. He didn't accrue what's called unlawful presence. Now, what happens if you don't file for anything and you overstay? And you then leave, but want to come back several years later? Well, that could be a problem. It all depends on how long you stayed and for what reason. Using my example, I'm from Venezuela, which I'm not. I'm from Santiago, Chile. But for purposes of the example, I'm from Venezuela. I entered January 1st. I was given until June 1st to depart, and I leave in December. So that's 5 months. So I've stayed in the US about 150 days beyond what I was given. I'm not automatically barred from returning. But listen, if I come back 3 months later, they're going to give me a really hard time. If I come back 3 or 4 years later, they'll give me less of a hard time, but they'll likely still ask me, hey, what happened? Why'd you overstay? And you need to have a reason. Again, I was in a car accident, there was a medical reason, there was whatever it is, document it, because without it, you're going to have a problem. If it was I was charged with a crime and I was defending that case, you're going to have other problems. Unless, of course, you won and the charges were dismissed. And then that's a different story. Now, let's say you overstay over 180 days. So that's more than 6 months, but less than a year. When you leave, you won't be able to come back for 3 years unless you apply and receive a waiver. So that's called the 3-year bar. You could be subject to that even if you entered illegally, meaning without permission. If you're in the United States, either legally and overstay or illegally for more than 180 days, and you leave, you can't come back for 3 years. If you are here for more than a year, again, it doesn't matter if you entered legally and then overstayed or illegally. And what's important is you were in the United States more than a year without permission and you leave. you're subject to the 10-year bar. If you later come back within the 3 years or the 10 years and don't file a waiver, you are barred for 10 years, no waiver, any circumstances. Doesn't matter if you're married to a U.S. citizen. You will have to leave the United States and wait for 10 years for a family-based petition. You might be eligible for a U visa, you might be eligible for asylum, but green card process, generally, you're disqualified because you entered without permission, you stayed here too long, or again, you entered legally with permission, but overstayed, left, and then came back again without applying for a waiver. Now, let's say you entered legally, you overstayed by a year, you left, and your visa expired, you filed for a new one, and in the application you ask, have you ever filed before? And you say no, and they don't catch it, now you lied. Now you may have another problem in the future when you try to apply for legal status. So once again, thank you so much for watching today. Go ahead and share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. And I look forward to answering more of your questions next week.